Welcome to The Clue, the channel where history's mysteries are revealed in simple words for everyone, everywhere. Today's story takes us to Central Africa, to the Republic of the Congo, and to a man whose life changed his country forever, Marien Ngouabi. Marien Ngouabi was born in 1938 in Nolombo, a small village in northern Congo. His family was humble, but young Marien was bright, ambitious, and determined to rise beyond the limitations of rural life. He excelled in school, showing discipline and intelligence that impressed his teachers. His academic success opened doors, and he eventually joined the military, a path that would shape his destiny. The Congo at this time was undergoing dramatic change. In 1960, the country gained independence from France. Independence brought hope but also instability. Political factions competed for power and the young nation struggled to find its footing. Ngouabi rose through the army ranks during this turbulent period. His discipline and leadership earned him respect among soldiers and officers. He believed in building a strong, independent Congo, free from foreign domination. His loyalty to the nation and his confidence in its future made him stand out. By 1968, the Republic of the Congo was in crisis. The government was weak, corruption was rampant, and ordinary people were frustrated. Ngouabi, then a young officer, led a movement that seized control of the government. His boldness and decisiveness won him support among the military and parts of the population. So, by 1969, at just 31 years old, Ngouabi became president of the Republic of the Congo. He was one of the youngest leaders in Africa at that time. His youth symbolized energy, change, and a break from the old order. Ngouabi promised transformation. He spoke of equality, justice, and national pride. He wanted to build a new kind of Congo, the one that would stand tall among nations and chart its own course. His rise was not only the story of a man, but of a country searching for identity and direction in the post-colonial era. Marien Ngouabi believed Congo needed a radical new direction. He wanted to break away from colonial legacies and create a society based on socialism, a system where wealth and power would be shared more equally. In 1969, he declared Congo a People's Republic and founded the Congolese Labour Party, that is, the Parti Congolais du Travail. This became the nation's sole political party, symbolizing unity but also centralizing power under his leadership. Ngouabi admired revolutionary figures like Fidel Castro in Cuba and Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana. He envisioned Congo as part of a global movement resisting foreign control and promoting independence. His speeches emphasized dignity, solidarity, and the importance of African nations charting their own destiny. So, under his rule, Congo adopted Marxist-Leninist principles. The government took control of industries, schools, and land. Ngouabi encouraged education, believing it was the foundation of national progress. He promoted national pride, urging Congolese citizens to believe in themselves and their country. But building a socialist state was not easy. The economy struggled under state control. Some citizens supported his vision, while others feared his growing power. Opposition brewed within the army, and among political rivals, rumors of plots and conspiracies circulated constantly, creating an atmosphere of tension, as at the time. So Ngouabi remained determined. He traveled across Africa, forging alliances with other socialist nations. He spoke passionately about unity, independence, and African solidarity. He believed Congo could become a model for African socialism, a nation that resisted foreign influence and stood proudly on its own. Yet, the dangers of power were ever present, His reforms disrupted old elites and the centralization of economy created enemies. So by the mid-1970s, Congo was a nation caught between hope and fear, progress and instability. But one thing, power comes with danger, and in 1977, that danger caught up with him. On March 18, 1977, tragedy struck. President Marien Ngouabi was assassinated in Brazzaville, the capital of Congo, The details remain unclear. Some reports claim he was shot inside his presidential residence, while others suggest it was part of a coup attempt orchestrated by rivals within the military. But what is certain is that his death plunged the nation into chaos. Within hours, Brazzaville was filled with soldiers. The government declared a state of emergency, A special committee was formed to investigate, but the truth was never fully revealed. Several officials were arrested and executed, accused of plotting the assassination, Ngouabi's death shocked Africa. He was only 39 years old at the time, a young leader whose vision had been cut short. His funeral drew leaders from across the continent who came to honor a man seen as courageous and revolutionary. He was buried with full honors, and his name became a symbol of sacrifice and struggle. So after his death, Congo entered years of instability. Power shifted between military leaders, and the nation faced economic and political challenges. But yet, Ngouabi's ideas, that is, independence, equality, and African unity, continued to inspire. So today, his legacy endures. The Marien Ngouabi University in Brazzaville bears his name, ensuring that future generations remember his contributions. Streets, schools, and monuments honor him. He is remembered as a soldier, as a thinker. He is remembered as a leader who tried to build a fairer Congo, even if his dream ended too soon. His assassination remains a mystery, raising questions about whether it was a political plot, a struggle for power, or both. But what is clear is that his life and death shaped Congo's history in profound ways. So this was The Clue, bringing you the hidden stories of history in simple words. If you enjoyed this journey into the life of Marien Ngouabi, hit like, share, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments, do you think his assassination was a political plot or a struggle for power? Let's uncover the truth together. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next documentary.